Is China's military purge really about corruption or a preparation for war? President Xi Jinping has removed his most senior generals in what's being described as the biggest shakeup of the People's Liberation Army since Mao Zedong. Beijing is clearly saying this is about internal discipline and loyalty. However, critics are offering an alternative narrative. It's about power, and it's about Taiwan. I'm Zhang Youxia, and today's newsmaker is China's military purge. China's armed forces have been thrown into turmoil. Not one, but two of the country's most powerful generals are under investigation for corruption and alleged betrayal, leaving President Xi Jinping almost alone at the military command. Some analysts are saying this exposes deep rot within the PLA. Others are saying it strengthens President Xi's grip as tensions rise over Taiwan. The purge comes after major military drills around the island and amid growing uncertainty over how the United States would respond to a possible Chinese move on Taiwan. Our story looks into this crackdown for discipline and a reshaping of China's military.
China's top military brass and party officials are looking over their shoulders after a surprising purge at the highest level of the People's Liberation Army in January. General Zhang Youxia, Vice Chairman of China's Central Military Commission and second in military command only to Xi Jinping himself, was removed from the powerful Politburo, along with another senior military officer, PLA Chief of Staff Liu Zhenli.
The resolute investigation and punishment of Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli is a major achievement in the party and the military's anti-corruption campaign, and an important demonstration of the party's and the military's resolve and capability. It is of great significance for winning the tough, protracted and overall battle against corruption in the military.
Corruption is often given as a reason why powerful top officials are removed, and this time, reports that Zhang Youxia leaked nuclear secrets to the US have circulated. But in the secretive halls of power, in China's central government and armed forces, political justifications are treated with a degree of skepticism by outsiders.
In the short term, this will create a military leadership gap, clearly, in the PLA, in the Chinese system, which would make any imminent military action by the PLA difficult to comprehend. But the danger, I think, in a medium and longer term is that the use of force by China, in my view, is more likely if constraints are removed from Xi Jinping.
It's widely believed in the West that Xi Jinping sees 2027 as a date for reunification with Taiwan, and China has never ruled out the use of force to do so. Last month and in December of last year, there was an uptick of Chinese military and naval drills in the vicinity of Taiwan. In response, Taiwan launched extensive naval exercises, defensive drills, and military displays of force. For Washington, the downfall of Shang, who was a top-level Chinese contact point between senior Chinese and senior US leaders, raises the stakes of miscommunication and miscalculation between the two superpowers. Zhang was also one of very few senior officials in Beijing with real-world military experience.
It just makes it even riskier than it already is if you don't have a series of experienced commanders who have worked with each other in complex joint operations, which now China absolutely does not have.
Among China's adversaries, there's now a fear that the PLA command structure under Xi Jinping will be filled with yes-men, unwilling to act as guardrails with advice or cautions that the Chinese president may not wish to hear, raising the possibility of miscommunication with mainland China over Taiwan or other Chinese military activities in the South China Sea.
Joining me now are from Hong Kong, international China strategist Andrew KP Leung. From Washington, Taiwan political and security affairs analyst Howard Shen. And also from the U.S. Capitol, senior fellow in the Initiative for U.S.-China Dialogue on Global Issues at Georgetown University, Dennis Weiler. Gentlemen, welcome to all of you. I want to start by better understanding this unprecedented purge. Andrew, let me begin with you. I mean, we know how unprecedented this removal of the generals is, but what does this tell you about the state of the country's military leadership?
Well, actually, the purge of the generals already started, of course, at a much lower level in the beginning, and that was also preceded by a huge anti-corruption drive, which has been going on for decades. And this speaks to the very deep-seated corruption of the whole system. And what happened was when the Communist Party first established its control, the Communist Party prided itself on being very clean, and hence they defeated the nationalists at the time when the two political parties were at civil war. And then the nationalists were very corrupt and very unpopular, whereas the communists are extremely clean at that time. But then after the founding of the People's Republic of China, China was mired in extreme poverty. So Deng Xiaoping opened up the country and letting a few people get rich first. And while the whole country was governed directly by various party secretaries, and they're almost overarching control over all the assets, and that has led to a systemic corruption. President Xi wasn't dropped down from a helicopter. He was a result of a consensus amongst the party leaders to lead China into a higher plane. To a higher plane means to realize the China dream of becoming a strong socialist country, a great power in the world by 2049 at the latest, which is the 100th anniversary of the founding of People's Republic of China. But then the huge problem of corruption must be got rid of, and hence President Xi presided over this decades of campaign, even during this first term, during his second term, and during his first two terms, many provincial administrators are brought down, and some at a very, very high level. And even if you look at the recent records, one of the seven leaders of the Politburo Standing Committee brought down as well. And now this is the first time that the highest level in the military commission was touched, because the various generals were brought down in recent years, but not as high as this. But now I think the realization is beginning to dawn on President Xi that the whole system must be completely cleansed.
Andrew, let's leave there. Let's take a pause there. Thank you for making the case. Howard Shen, let me turn to you. I mean, you heard what Andrew was saying, and I want your perspective. Do you feel that this purge is more likely driven by corruption allegations, as Andrew has pointed out, or is there an angle of political rivalry and sort of separating the loyalists from the non-loyalists?
Well, it's great to be back, Professor Wilder. Great to see you here. I think everyone here is, to some certain extent, purely speculating, right? We've seen reporting that it might be just because Zhang Youxia was trying to stage a coup against Xi Jinping. We see other reports showing that it was because Zhang Youxia ousted Xi Jinping's protege, Miao Huang and He Weidong, from the Central Military Commission, and therefore Xi Jinping had to retaliate against Zhang Youxia. And we saw Wall Street Journal's report about how Zhang Youxia probably leaked nuclear secrets to the United States, according to an internal briefing within the People's Liberation Army. But I do find one interpretation from Taiwan quite interesting, which is that some analysts do believe that the two top generals that were ousted, Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli, were part of the wing that have a more clear-minded vision for the People's Liberation Army, in which they understand the goals of being capable of reunifying Taiwan is unrealistic within Xi Jinping's timeline of 2027. They prefer a much later timeline, 2035, 2049, that sort. And with that, there exist competing priorities with Xi Jinping in terms of military development, how they should put their priorities, and with that, there are internal struggles.
Okay, that's a good introduction. We'll get to Taiwan in just a sec, but Dennis, let me turn to you. I mean, Howard was mentioning this is all about speculation. One of these was actually Western sources suggesting allegations of leaking nuclear secrets. I think this was brought up in the Wall Street Journal. How seriously should the international community take these claims?
Well, first of all, as my learned colleagues have said, we are working without a lot of information. But as I reported and wrote in the Financial Times of London this weekend, it's my belief that this was a power issue. And it wasn't that Zhang Youxia was trying to oust Xi Jinping, but rather than that after Zhang Youxia had gotten rid of his opponents on the Central Military Commission, he was now becoming too powerful. He may have been someone who could have led a move to force Xi Jinping, for example, to anoint successors. Xi Jinping has refused to do this within the party, and a lot of people in the party are uncomfortable with that. Xi Jinping is up for, if you will, a Chinese-style re-election in 2027. It could be that Xi Jinping was worried again that Zhang Youxia would band together with others to limit his power, to have him reduce the number of positions, reduce the authority, and spread the authority in a way that Deng Xiaoping had advocated. In terms of this allegation that Zhang Youxia leaked secrets, it is totally and completely ridiculous. The CIA could not get to Zhang Youxia if it tried. Zhang Youxia had no reason to work with the United States. And frankly, this charge was leveled 2 years ago against a former defense minister in China. You see, what you need to understand is that Xi Jinping is paranoid. He believes the CIA is behind every problem in China, be it the Hong Kong demonstrations, Tibet, Xinjiang, Taiwan. And therefore, it's very common for Xi Jinping to accuse people of working with the CIA. It's an easy charge because who knows? But I really do not take these allegations seriously. I think it's a way to tar Zhang Youxia. And just one more point.
Sure.
If this is all about corruption, why did the Liberation Army Daily accuse Zhang Youxia of, quote, trampling on the chairman's responsibility in the CMC? That is a direct charge of disloyalty. This is not just about corruption. This is about power politics in China.
Andrew, I need you to respond to what Dennis Wilder was saying. I mean, this operation against Zhang Youxia is a game, and I'm wondering what you think, what position this leaves President Xi Jinping in. I mean, is he more confident than ever, or is he more insecure than ever?
Well, I don't think really it is a power struggle because there is no sign of that. There is no one person emerging that can rally the supporters. Don't forget that President Xi wasn't dropped down from a helicopter. He was the result of a consensus of the party elites, and he has done quite well over the past 2 decades, and leading China on a trajectory, a rapid trajectory, and resulting in huge improvements of the people's livelihood. And I don't think that there is any challenger emerging. But what happens is when the corruption is so deep-seated, and there are various people already have got their fingers in the pie, and don't forget that Zhang Youxia's ascent to the second highest position in the military commission was only no small measure to President Xi's support. And because the President Xi's family, his father, and Zhang Youxia's also family knew each other for for ages. So I think that this targeting, in fact, a complete reshuffling of the military commission is forced upon President Xi, as he sees that you just can't get rid of any people at the second tier because they are all involved in this vicious net. And of course, that the national security and then China's the realization of the China dream depends on a very strong military to defend the country's interests. So I think this is the result, not because of that there any kind of internal rivalry. And of course, the people who were caught obviously would got their turf and would find all sorts of ways to push back. But I don't think that translates into a political rivalry to topple President Xi, as some were trying to portray.
Dennis Wilder, I want to give you a chance to respond to what Andrew was saying, because I think that there's probably not much that you believe in what Andrew was saying.
Well, that's right. First of all, I am not claiming that Zhang Youxia would lead a coup d'etat. I don't believe that. But I think you have to ask the question, if this is merely about corruption, why were the 5 charges not just about corruption? It is quite clear in the People's Liberation Army Daily, which has run front page editorials 3 days in a row on this subject, that he is accusing Zhang Youxia of something much deeper than corruption. He is accusing Zhang Youxia of not following orders, of, to be frank, disloyalty. Now, is that because Zhang Youxia did not move fast enough on military modernization? That's entirely possible. There have been credible reports from the CIA that the 300 new ICBM silos that the Chinese are building are flawed because of corruption in the construction process. But I think it's also because, again, too much power. You need to understand that this purge is like taking out the entire Joint Chiefs of Staff in the U.S. military. There is not an operational commander left at the top of the military. The only man left on the Central Military Commission is a political commissar with no military experience. So when we say Xi Jinping is clearing out the deadwood, well, he's done more than cleared out the deadwood. He has completely decapitated the military leadership of China.
Okay. Howard Shen, let's get you back in this conversation. I mean, you've said that the People's Liberation Army answers to the Communist Party and not to the state. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on this purge, sort of reinforcing President Xi's authority over the armed forces.
Right. As Professor Wilder has said, on the eve of this National Congress, there were supposed to be 7 members of the Central Military Commission, Xi Jinping included, and now it's just Xi Jinping and Zhang Youxia, which just signals, which just shows that Xi Jinping is trying to signal throughout the entire military leadership that there has to be absolute loyalty to the party leadership, which is now Xi Jinping. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if I grew up with you. It doesn't matter if you are someone's son or daughter. If there are traces of disloyalty, you will be purged no matter how high your position is.
Okay. Dennis, you had some good analysis there, but I'm wondering how this is looking from Washington's perspective, everything that you explained. I mean, is this viewed as instability or consolidation? How's it looking from D.C.?
I think that it is viewed as consolidation. I think by taking out Zhang Youxia, Xi Jinping has made very clear to the rest of the leadership that he intends to be leader for life, that he may not be willing to appoint successors, because if he does, he becomes lame duck. So I think in general, it shows that he is fully in charge. But the other aspect that people are going to be looking at here is, does it increase the threat to Taiwan or decrease the threat? I think in the short term, people think it decreases the threat because he's going to have to come up with a whole new set of commanders. But if indeed he was unhappy with Zhang Youxia because he was conservative on the issue of Taiwan and wasn't moving fast enough with a plan for Taiwan militarily, then I think this is going to cause some alarm, not only in Washington, but in Tokyo, Taipei, other places in the region.
Okay. Howard Chen, I want to get your perspective on how this plays out in Taiwan. I mean, from a military strategy perspective, does the removal of these military commanders actually delay or complicate any potential military move against Taiwan, at least in the short term?
Well, of course, with the entire military leadership decapitated, at least in the short term, they will have to find new leaders to take in charge of military operations, let's say, overseeing the Eastern Theater Command. But I think at the end of the day, if we're looking at the People's Liberation Army, it's always important to separate political intent from operational capability. You can be a super capable army, but yet you do not have the political intention to act on it. You can have the political intention to act on it, but not have the capability. So whether or not this changes the operational capability in the short term, I think that is almost certain. But I think only Xi Jinping himself personally will know whether or not he has the political intention to move on Taiwan by a certain deadline.
Okay, Andrew, let me ask you. I mean, you heard Howard talk about sort of political intent and operational capability. Do you feel that this purge may have removed the voices that may have sort of urged caution when it comes to the issue of Taiwan?
The United States and military and the Pentagon have conducted quite a number of military simulations, kind of war games over Taiwan over the past decade. And the conclusion is that there is, the Chinese military has achieved almost predominance over the Taiwan Strait, and then that makes the United States really give pause to any kind of possible intervention. Though I don't think that the Chinese military is weakening, but on the other hand, the corruption at the highest level does pose a very serious challenge. Should push come to shove on Taiwan. But herein lies the tremendous misunderstanding about Taiwan. I heard a reference to 2027, and this reference to 2027 has been repeated in Western media time and again, as if President Xi is fixing that time to mount an invasion, taking advantage of the situation around the world, Ukraine, and so on and so forth. This is a total misunderstanding, because the presidency did mention 2027, but that was a directive to the military to get ready, not to mount an invasion, but to mount a coercive deterrence against any unilateral declaration of independence. That's all. But the preference remains peaceful unification. And then, of course, President Xi did set a deadline for ultimate unification by 2049 at the latest, which is the 100th anniversary of the founding People's Republic of China. But the preference still is peaceful unification, enshrined in 3 white papers. The last coincided with the provocative visit of Nancy Pelosi to Taiwan. They all stressed the top priority for peaceful unification. But how? Of course, I mean, there is, again, a big misunderstanding. This is going to be achieved by 3 strategies. The first one is military coercion. Military coercion against any unilateral forces for independence. Okay. Secondly, economic and diplomatic isolation, because very few countries now recognize Taiwan. Thirdly, people-to-people exchanges, because the two peoples are of the same civilization, they visit each other, tremendous business opportunities for Taiwanese, so it creates a momentum towards forcing Taiwan towards the negotiation table. That still remains the top preference for Beijing. Peaceful unification, not by military kind of invasion. Because don't forget the Taiwan a very treacherous body of waters.
Okay, Andrew, thank you very much for that. Dennis, I want to give you the last word. I don't have a lot of time, but what are your thoughts on Andrew's position and thoughts?
Well, I do think that the Chinese, as he has said, are gearing up military coercion against Taiwan. They fly aircraft around Taiwan constantly. They fly other kinds of drones, and they have ships constantly moving against Taiwan. It's clear that they are trying to undermine the morale of the Taiwan people and force Taiwan to the table on their terms. Okay. But there is the question of, does Xi Jinping lose patience at some point? And does he feel he needs to do more than this? Does he think that the independence forces will become so strong that unless he acts militarily, Taiwan will drift away from the mainland? And so we have to be concerned. The buildup of Chinese military forces is huge. They have more Navy ships than we have today. They have more fighter aircraft in the region than we can possibly put in the region. They have more missiles opposite Taiwan than any country in the world has against a neighbor. Mm-hmm. So this is a serious situation, and we really don't know at the end of the day Xi Jinping's plan.
Okay. Dennis Wilder, Howard Chen, and Andrew KP Leung, thank you very much for joining us here on the Newsmakers. And thanks for watching. Of course, you can follow us on social media and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. For now, I'm Ali Can Ayandar, and we'll see you next time.